Today we are going to use this service called Shiba Online. Okay, so what it does is that it will give us images, random images of animals, basically dogs, and it will read the documentation. It will say that dogs, cats, birds. Okay, so it will give us random pictures of dogs, cats, and birds, and how to use it. It's actually very simple. It's a very fun API. We just need to use this URL, and when we call this URL, it will actually give us the pictures of animals. So I'm going to just copy and show you how this actually work. So when I paste in this as a template, okay, so by default now it's going to show us pictures of Shibas, okay, Shiba Inus, and there will be this cow, okay, inside a square bracket. By right, you shouldn't have a when you put in a number, you shouldn't be have these square brackets. So we are going to say count 10, okay, 10. So later you will give us 10 pictures of the Shiba Inus, and then there is this another one question is URL, whether is it, do you want the URL, okay, true, okay, it will give you URL, and do you want it to be a secure URL, secure HTTP URL, so you put true. Okay, so when I run this, when I run this URL, it will actually give me 10, I believe, 10, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5, okay, 10. So 10 URLs of pictures of Shiba Inus. So when I click on this, okay, it will show me a picture of a random picture of a Shiba Inu. If I refresh it, okay, it will change the image. It will be another image of Shiba Inus. Okay, so very easy to use. Basically, you will play with the URL. Okay, the API service will, depending on what URL you call, it will actually give you the information you want. So if I want, instead of Shibas, I'm going to change it to cats. Okay, and maybe this time around I'm going to say 5 cats. Okay, and enter. Okay, it will give you 5 cats with the URL. If you say URL false, okay, it will only give you the ID. Okay, if I change it back to true, okay, it will be a full URL. Now, by if you look at the documentation of these service, they will have state here that by default the picture that is given is one. Okay, the count of the image is one picture. Now the URL, okay, by default it has a URL, and by default it is a HTTPS URL. So actually, if we can actually omit this, if we don't want the URL to be false, we can just omit this, enter, and it still works. And if we want the URL by default, we can just delete this, okay, and run it again, it works. Okay, you will still call out, you will still get your animal. And by default, if you are, or you only want one cat or one Shiba or one bird, you also don't need to type in this. So if I say let's say this time around we'll call birds, okay, by default it gives you one. So depending on what you want, you just need to change the last uh, word. So if I say cats, you give me a picture of a cat. Okay, so the for this service, only for this service, okay, if you look at this, you know that you can call them out, Shiba Online /API/ whatever animal you want, and it will give you one animal, okay, one picture of an animal. So depending on what you want to do. So today what I need to do is I will create an app that will use this API to show a picture of the animals. Okay, so we are going to go to Thunkable and create a new app, and this app I'm going to call it animals. Okay, and we are going to create a way for the user to choose whether they want a cat, a bird, or a dog. Okay, so we are going to create something called a segmented control. Okay, in iOS it's called a segmented control, but we are going to do it something like that. Okay, in Thunkable, which is not available here. Basically it's buttons. When you click on one button, it will disable the rest of the buttons, so it's like a MCQ choice. So we are going to try and do that. So what you need to do is, first you need to put in a row. Okay, then you will need to add in 3 button, but first we will add in 1 button first, and we are going to start to change some of it. So first thing we are going to, so that later we can duplicate. So first thing that we are going to do is we are going to remove the radius. Okay, remove the radius, we don't need it. Then next, width, we are going to change the size to 33%, relative size 33%, and yep, that's it for the first button. Okay, so this button is done. Then next thing is we are going to duplicate it. Okay, duplicate button 2. So oh, apparently the setting doesn't follow, so no choice, we have to delete the, oh, some of it, the relative size still follows, so we can still keep it. So we can just duplicate another button. Okay, and delete away the radius, and just check that the relative size, yes, is still the same. Okay, so now we have 3 buttons. For the dog, cat, and bird, we are going to change the row to the height of the row to fit content, and we are going to go to the screen and align them to the top. Okay, align this whole option to the top. Then we are going to start to change the button color. Okay, so by default, we are going to, what we are going to do is we are going to use this color. If you are going to use another color, you need to take note, okay, of this hex color. So what I want to do is I want to invert the text color and the background color. So first one is this. I'm going to change this to 2962FF. Okay, 2962FF, and the the background color will be white. Okay, same thing goes for the next button. Okay, I'm going to just change this to 2962FF, and then the background color will be white. Okay, so now the 3 buttons are done up. Okay, and later when I press on the center button, the other 2 buttons will be disabled, will be white color, and the center button will be blue color when I press on it. So that is what we want to do, such that when we choose, we can choose which one of the buttons and disable the other 2. So this is done. We are going to change the text of the button. So the third one will be bird, and the second one will be cat, and the first one will be Shiba. Okay, I don't want to change or the actual name should be Shiba. Okay, so Shiba, cat, and bird. Okay, so we are going to go to the blocks and program it such that when we click on the button, it will change the colors. So we go to, oops, we should rename our button, or else button 1, 2, 3 is hard to tell. So button, we are going to call this Shiba. Okay, I think I'll just name it according to that, so that it's not so confusing. So Shiba button, Shiba, and cat, I'm going to just change it to cat. Oops. And then we will have a bird. Okay, done. Then we will go to blocks. Say that when button Shiba is clicked, we want to change the text color and the background color of this. Okay, so by this is a default, we can leave it. That is what I want. I want it when it's selected to be blue and text color to be white. But we will want to change the colors of the cat and the bird. So first thing is cat. Okay, we want to change the cat color to blue text. Okay, it should be this blue. Okay, it looks the same. Okay, and we are going to change the cat background color to white. Okay, so it is inverted from the one at the top. Then we will duplicate, okay, and change the button to bird and duplicate. Oops, delete this. Duplicate, and this will be bird. Okay, so the button Shiba is done. We duplicate this, and we are going to say change this to button cat, and this will be cat. This will be Shiba. So 2 cat, 2 Shiba, 2 bird. Okay, for the text background color. So this duplicate, and we are going to have for button bird. Okay, so this will be button bird, and then the other two is the same, so we just need to change the bird to cat. Okay, done. So this is for the segmented control. Okay, first part of creating that control. Going to demo it for you to see. So because we say that when we click on Shiba, it will change the cat and bird button. So okay, so now it will look like this. When I click on bird cat, it will disable the Shiba. When I click on bird, it will disable the cat. Okay, so this is the option that we want. When we click on Shiba, cat or bird, it will actually change the keyword. Okay, that is what we want to do. We want to change this keyword to call out the right image for us. Okay, next. So when this is done, we will want to call out and the right image. So how to do that? We will create a new variable. So initialize add variable. I'm going to call this animal. Okay, so by default, okay, I'm going to just put this at the top. Okay, by default, animal will be when it starts, it is Shiba, so it will be Shibas. Okay, so that's how I want it. Okay, done. So when the button is clicked, we will want to change this variable. Okay, so by default it is Shiba. That's why I highlight it as a blue color at the start. So when button is clicked, we will want to set app animal to. Okay, this will be still Shiba. So I'm gonna just put this as Shiba, duplicate, and when cat is pressed, it will be cats, and when bird is clicked, it's birds. Okay, so this will change the keyword, okay, to call out the URL. Next, okay, we are going to create something to a placeholder to hold the image. Okay, what we want to do is that if I click on the Shiba, it will change to the Shiba, and when I click on the image here, it will actually keep calling out a new picture of a Shiba. So what we need to do is, if it's clickable, it got to be a button. So I'm going to put in a new button. Okay, this new button will be at the bottom. on. So I'm going to keep this, and sometimes it's easier to do it here. So I'm going to drag it all the way. Right under this row is this button, and what I'm going to do is background color, I'm going to change it to black, and I'm going to say that it will be, the height and width will be fill container, and the radius, I'm going to delete it. The text, I'm going to also clear out the text. Okay, so this is the button that we are going to put the image in. Okay, so we are going to go to, oh, we need to add in the web API. So type in API, you just drag in the API. Okay, so API added in. Now, because we are going to change the URL, so there's no point in filling in this portion. Just add in web API, and we are going to start to do up the API. So we are going to create a new function, and when this new function is called, it will actually change the picture. So there are two types. There is this do something. So when I call this, it will actually do something. Okay, you will do whatever that is inside here every time I call it. And this one, when I call it, it not only do something, it will return a value if I need to use the value. So I'm going to just use this. Okay, and I'm going to call this get animal. Okay, get animal. So when this is called, you will get an animal. And when do I call this? When I click on any of the button, I want it to get animal. When the app starts, I want you to get the animal and put in the picture. And when I press another button, okay, I want you to get the animal. So get animal, okay, done. And then we will go to call get. Before we get, we should set the URL first. So from web API 1, set URL 2, and we can use text join. Okay, this is how we can join the URL. So we don't need this, and then what we need to do is we just need to copy this URL and paste it here. Okay, and then we will delete away the cat. Okay, and we will say that this join will actually join, okay, will join Shiba Online API / whatever animal that we have chosen. Okay, by default it's Shiba, but then when we click on any of the button, it will actually change the URL. Okay, so first thing is it changes the URL, and then once the URL is done, we can get. So call get, and once we call get, there will be a response, a JSON response. Okay, so when we look at this JSON response, it is in a array. Okay, it's in an array, and the first one is this is the, so I will say count equal 5. Oops. Okay, count equal 5. It will give you 5 arrays. 5 arrays with 5 of the values. So we will need to be able to handle this. So how to actually handle JSON? We will just need to go to we need to know where to put that image. So first thing is I'm going to go to design first. I'm going to rename this button. I'm going to call this button image. Okay, so you will know that this for the image, button image, set background picture to. Okay, when this click, okay, when we get the animal, when we get it, we want to actually put it into here. Before we even do that, we will need to create another variable. Okay, because there is we cannot we cannot just put it into the image. Later I explain. So I need to change this to called list, okay, or it can be an array, okay, and we will need to call it to get property get object from JSON. Okay, get object from JSON. We will need to get the response, okay, and we need to go to list, and we need to get this, okay, throw away this one. So we are going to say that we will get the object from JSON and put it inside this list, and then what we need to do is that in list, okay, in the list app list, okay, so what we do is that we get the response, the JSON response. We need to pass it into this get object from JSON. Then after that, when we get this, it is actually a list, okay, it itself is a list. You can see from here that it is actually a list. So you will need to know what to call out, what they need to get, okay. Even though if it's one, okay, one inside only got one, they will need to know which one to pull out. You need to tell it that I want to pull out the first one. So we need to tell it here to get number one, okay. In list, because it's in a list, we need to tell it in list get one. So after this, we can set it as a background picture. Okay, we are going to try it. Okay, so we are going to try and do this. So what we are going to say is that when screen one, we can say that when screen one starts, when screen one starts, I want to get animal. So I'll go to function get animal. So when screen one starts, it will get an animal. Now I'm going to show you in QuickTime player. Okay, so this is how it looks like in my in the app. Okay, so now it doesn't do anything. When I tap on it, it doesn't do anything. But at the start, okay, when we start this, it will get an animal. So if I live test it, okay, live test this, it will get me an animal. Okay, so for now is Shiba. Okay, then we'll say that when the button is clicked, okay, it will get a animal. Okay, so at the end, we add in this get animal. We need to call out this function. So when screen one starts, it will do this to get the animal. Okay, when button is clicked, it will do all this and then get the animal. So now we can take a look at this. So now it's Shiba. If I click on cat, oops, I need to click on my phone. Okay, it will get a picture of a cat. I click on bird, you get a picture of a bird. Okay, so maybe later we will need to do some adjustment. I think the picture is not adjusted properly. That's why the head of the bird is cut off. So I don't think it should look like this. I think it's how the picture is contained in the button. One more thing to add is that we need to add button image. When button image is clicked, same thing, we go and get animal. Okay, so these are what you need to do. So now when we go to here, when I click on the image, it will get a new picture. Again, it gets a new picture. When I go to cats, it goes to get cat. I click on bird, it get bird. Okay, and I click on it, it will get another bird. Now, so how to actually change the button image? We need to go to click on this, and then from the background picture resize mode, we will probably need to choose contain. Okay, contain. So now when we look at this, the picture is contained inside this button, so it looks better, so we can see the whole picture. Okay, so now this is completed. That's it for this exercise.